What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 6 and round 2 of the World Championship that I'm doing. Okay, so there are 6 countries going in this World Championship: UK, USA, Germany, Italy, France, and Japan. This is round 2. These are going to be A Class rear-wheel drive cars. We start off with France, and the car that I had to go for was the Renault Sport Clio V6. Now, France doesn't actually really have many cars altogether. I am going to struggle a little bit, I think, in the future with France. Because I kind of want to keep the series going and going and going and just see how many different cars and things I can do. I may have to swap out France for another country at some point, because it's very hard to find a car. Like a rear-wheel drive car in France, they're mainly all front-wheel drive, a couple of four-wheel drive ones. However, the rear-wheel drive cars, this was really the best rear-wheel drive car I could get. It did get all the way up to A Class, up to the very top of A Class. However, it's quite a bit of an older car than all the others on this list. It's a smaller car than all of the other cars as well. And I mean, it starts off, I think this car only starts off in D class, whereas the other cars on this list are in C and B class. However, the Renault Clio, even though it was a little bit down on power, was pretty decent around the Catalunya circuit. That is a circuit that we're going around, Circuit de Catalunya. Next up, we have Germany, and I went for the BMW M4 Coupe. Now, I do quite like BMWs. A lot of BMWs are very, very similar looking. You may know that. A lot of people don't really like BMWs because, you know, the M3s, the M4s, the M2s, the M5s, they all look very similar. But, you know, I don't mind BMWs, and the M4 Coupe is a pretty good one. Probably my second favourite behind, you know, the M3s, which seem to be the favourite among most people. This car was very nice. It was one of the more powerful cars that we had. I don't actually have all the power figures here. However, this was one of the most powerful cars. I don't think it was quite the most powerful, however, quite a bit more power than the Renault. However, of course, it is heavier, but it drove very nicely. It gripped well, not too much sliding about. It had plenty of power, plenty of acceleration, and yeah, the BMW was actually a really nice car to drive, and I liked it quite a lot. Next up, we have USA, and I went for the Dodge Charger SRT8. Now, out of all American muscle cars, you know, out of your Dodge Chargers, your Challengers, Chevrolet Camaros, Ford Mustangs, stuff like that, the Dodge Charger is probably one of my favourite. I'm getting to starting to like the Ford Mustangs a lot more nowadays. However, I think the Charger will always be kind of a classic favourite of mine. So that's why I went for the Charger with this. This car started out right at the very top of C class. So I had a little bit more room than some of the other cars. I think every other car on this list started in B class, apart from the Renault, which was in D class. This was in C class. Now, of course, this was a very powerful car. I believe it's either the most powerful, or I think it was actually the second most powerful car. However, it was also pretty damn heavy. I believe being the heaviest car, actually, and you could really feel that. It didn't get around the corners very well. The acceleration wasn't amazing, however top speed was pretty good, but the brakes were quite abysmal, to be honest. Next up, we have Italy, and I chose the Maserati Gran Turismo S. I've driven this car in quite a few games, in Gran Turismo, in different Forza games, the different Forza games being this one and Forza Horizon 3. I don't know if I've driven it in Horizon 3. Maybe I haven't, but I've driven this car in quite a lot of games anyway. And it's a very, very nice car. I do like the Maserati Gran Turismo S. This was kind of middle ground with power. I believe this was the highest starting PI car. It was either this, it might have actually been the BMW. The BMW may have started off slightly higher, but then I think it was this. And this, you know, it was a very nice car. I mean, I've driven this car quite a lot in a lot of games, like I said. So I kind of expected how it would drive. It's very grippy, it's got good acceleration, good speed, the brakes seem to be pretty good as well. All round, I mean, this is just a good all-round car, and one of my favourite to drive out of all 6 that I drove here. Next up was the UK, and I chose the Jaguar XFRS. The Jaguar XFRS, for some reason I thought there was something more coming after that, but there isn't. Now, this car I've driven quite a bit in this game. It was one of the first cars I bought when I got Forza Motorsport 6, and it's a nice car. However, when I've upgraded it to how it is right now, it's the twitchiest car by far. Definitely, out of all 6 cars that I drove, this is the twitchiest. I believe this is the most powerful car we had, just a little bit more power than the Charger. however a little bit lighter, which means it was quite twitchy. The brakes were awful. I mean, the brakes on the Charger weren't great. The brakes on this were just terrible. And I mean, all in all, the acceleration, the speed was amazing, pretty on par with the Charger to be honest, and cornering was, I suppose, a little bit better, but it was twitchy, so I don't know really. But the brakes were absolutely terrible, and they really did let this car down. And the final car for Japan is the Nissan 370Z. I do like the 370Z, ever since the 350Z. You know, that was an amazing car. Drove that in like Need for Speed Underground, or Underground 2. I think it was in both those games. And it's a great car. I really do love it. Out of all the kind of rear-wheel drive Japanese cars, the 370Z is one, if not, it's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I really do like him. And this was really nice to try. It was a little bit down on power. I think this had just a little bit more power than the Clio. However, it wasn't quite up there with, you know, the Charger, the Jaguar, not even the Maserati and the BMW. However, it was light, and what it kind of lacked in acceleration and top speed, it made around the corners. This was definitely the nicest car around the corners. It just got around the corners really, really well. And yeah, I mean, the Nissan 370Z, it was a really, really bloody good car. So we now get on to the lap times, and well, in first place we have the Maserati Gran Turismo S with a 203.227. In second we have the Nissan 370Z, a 203.455. Third is the BMW M4 Coupe with a 203.652. Fourth, the Charger with a 204.018. In fifth we have the Renault Sport Clio with a 204.589, and sixth, the Jaguar XFRS with a 204.952. So some relatively close times, however I think it's a little bit more spread out than we had in round 1. And then we look at the current standings after round 1 and round 2 points have been given out. We now have Italy in first place with 30 points, France in second with 28 points, Germany third with 27 points, USA fourth with 22 points, Japan in fifth with 21 points, and then UK really slacking down the back there with only 14 points. So it's pretty close. The top 3 are very, very close with the 3 points within it. And then, you know, the 4th and 5th are very close as well. However, the UK are really, you know, they're really slacking back a bit. I think the UK need to pull a little bit of weight. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.